Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel. I am using up some more of those foilable card fronts that I foiled up a few weeks ago. Now I went through my pile and I selected these three, and ultimately I'm not going to be using the blue one, not in this video anyway. I do still make 3 cards, but I use just the two foiled card fronts. We're starting out with the green splatter one, and who would have thought that green foil would go with pirates? Well, I kind of had an inkling, and so I ran with that inkling, because today, September 19th, is Talk Like a Pirate Day. If you were unaware, now consider yourself educated. I had to be educated myself. I did not know. But Wendy over at Whimsy Stamps was fully aware, and she has organized a kind of a secret little scavenger hunt. So they are having this little treasure hunt, and you start on the Facebook group, and each participating design team member has a link to either their blog or their Instagram post where they have secrets, and you have to find those secrets in the form of different kinds of treasure and maybe riddles that you have to solve, things like that. And then you hop back and you go to the next person and you gather up your clues, and then the winner will be announced in the coming days. But they are also having a little bit of a best joke contest, if you will. So make sure that you check into both of those, because I think there's a lot of fun to be had over on the Whimsy Stamps Facebook group, and there are prizes to be won. So in the meantime, I am making this card, and I think everything is pretty much self-explanatory. If I have done anything to this point that you didn't understand, or you have questions about, or comments, or whatever, make sure you drop that downstairs in the comment section, and I will reply as appropriate. But I wanted to make sure that this was grungy along with the foil, because the foil is shine, and we don't think of shine with pirates, but think about it. The booty, the treasure, it's all about the shine, right? The sparkle, the gold, the diamonds, the silver, all of that. So there's some shine involved with some pirates. So we can think of it in that regard. So I wanted to bring in some more green. I've got the browns going, I've got the grunge going, I've got the map. I thought the map added a lot of interest to that circle with the foil. And so I decided I needed to bring in some more green, which I did through the coloring of the Yo-Ho-Ho. And I also took my green marker and I went around all of the different elements. I went around each layer of circles, I went around the sentiment, and I went around the square of the pirate image. And I did the pirate image a square rather than a circle on purpose. I wanted it to kind of juxtapose to all the circles, and I think it kind of worked. Now on all of the cards that I make today, I feel like they're a little lacking. When I finish them, I think I'm done. I look back at them, I think, no, they're lacking. So in the very end, what you see is not what you're going to see here in a minute, because I do come back and I add a few more things. So you can see that I have popped up my little image after I colored it with the Olos. Not a whole lot of coloring on a skull, but I popped it up on some foam tape using my wet glue as well to make sure that everything sticks down nice and securely. And I added some of that kind of cheesecloth or creepy cloth, if you will. I have dyed it with some ink re-inkers. Distress ink re-inkers, yeah. And I just thought it was fun. I thought it added a nice little element there. But again, I don't think that I'm quite done yet, so I come back to that. And now here I am using a variety of new products. I have the primitive candy corn die, and I again wanted to stick with the craft cardstock, so I die cut everything out. And I am using this adorable stamp set. Oh my goodness. It's just called Primitive Halloween. And I'm stamping up the different layers of this candy corn. And you can see that I also die cut my foiled image, or my foiled panel, with the candy corn die as well. So between these two candy corn die cuts, I'm going to have 2 different cards. And yeah, well, it'll make sense as I go, but I'm just moving my pieces around as I need to, just to kind of stamp all over this. I have those 2 main pumpkin well, they're not pumpkins, they're jack-o'-lanterns because they have faces. I have those images, and then I have this star, and then I use the solid star, and I also use the boo, and I just move them around and I stamp it up. I fill in all those gaps until it just pleases my eye, and I love it. I absolutely love it. These images are absolutely adorable. You will be seeing a lot more of this from me. We'll just leave it at that. Now, I do color these up with, there we go, with colored pencils. And I have this sped up really fast, but I know a lot of people like to watch the coloring. So if you would like to see it slowed down a bit, let me know. And I can always do a slowed down version of just the coloring over on my channel. And yeah, I'd be glad to do that. Just let me know if you're interested. If you're not interested, I'm not going to do it, and we will just move on from there. So I just have 3 different shades of oranges when I do the jack-o'-lanterns. I have to give him green eyes. I always say I color my characters with green eyes because I have green eyes, so that's just kind of what I do. So, you know, it is what it is. And I finished coloring all of my pumpkins, all of the jack-o'-lanterns rather, and the stars that need to be colored, and I just go from there. So what you will not see is me stamping, coloring, and die cutting the rest of the images from that stamp set. But I do all of that off screen, but I always like to be mindful and respectful of your time. And as I'm making 3 cards, we're already at almost 11 minutes, and I cut it down from about 2 hours. So I didn't want to keep you here any longer. But again, if you guys want to see those extended versions, you just let me know. Or if you like to see more details, let me know. I'm definitely open to suggestion. So you can see as I'm working my way around coloring everything, and I kind of audition my pieces back together, you can see what it's going to look like as it's coming together. And my heart is just happy. I'm loving these images so very much. One of my tips for when you're coloring with colored pencils is you want to make sure that your pencils stay sharp. Now, not so sharp that the tip breaks every time you touch it to the paper, but sharp enough that you're not just like rubbing a raw edge, but you want to have that sharp tip, a nice clean edge. So here's where you can see I have stamped and colored and now die cut all of my little images. And now I'm starting to build them, right? I'm going to do the construction piece. So I'm going around the card bases. I'm going around both of the candy corn shadows and all 3 segments on both candy corns with my orange ink and with the black soot ink. Now I do that on all the pieces. And where there is foil, I come in and I wipe it off, because just like when you do like an emboss resist technique, the foil resists the ink as well. So now you can see my vision, right? It's coming together. Now things do change, and even when I think I have these done, just like the pirate card, they're not quite done because I walk away and I come back. But even at this point, as happy as I am with the way everything's looking, it's still a little, well, just undone in my mind. So here I am. I've got my Memento ink pen, which I love this ink pen, by the way. And I go around the edges and I make some squiggly lines just to frame it in. On one card I did a thicker frame, and the other card I did a thin frame, and this, as you can see, is a thin frame. And I also went around the candy corn die and I did some squiggles, or not the die, but the die cut. And you can see that I did that on the top one as well. I have already pieced that together, so all of those pieces on the top are already in place. Again, popping them up on the foam tape and using some liquid ink just to make sure that everything is nicely secured. Lining these up, and I am just falling in love with these, you guys. My goodness. Now here I put my pieces in place again. They are in a little bit different placement than they were the first time, and I like this placement a little bit better. I have everything in place again using the double-sided foam tape and the liquid glue, and then I stamped out my sentiments, and I die cut the sentiments with the Quick Strips sentiment dies. It's the oval with the piercing detail. And here I have all 3 of my cards, and I think they're really cute. And I could have stopped there, but I didn't. You can see on the pirate card that I came back in with some embellishments. Why won't my mind think? I don't know why my mind won't think. But these are, what are they called? The Spooktacular Gaze polymer clay from This Calls for Confetti. And you can see on my other cards that I also added some bling. I have the raven beads, and I also added some Spanish moss just in certain spots, and I think it's so much fun. It just needed a natural element, just like the pirate card has the natural element there of the cheesecloth. I felt like the primitive little Halloween guys needed a natural element as well, and I think that the moss did that. Y'all let me know what you think. And keep in mind, this is just my version of my cards, right? You make yours however you want, whatever makes you happy, whatever pleases your creative sensibilities. But let me know what you think about these downstairs, and hop on over to the Facebook group and participate in the Pirate Day. And until next time, guys, I'm out.